Yo, shout out to everybody. Trump signing some new executive orders. Let's see what's going on.
Between America and Ireland, and to just honor all of the Irish Americans. And I'm a little bit biased because I'm American and Irish, but
Good. And well, great people. Great
St.
people.
Patrick's Day is coming up as well.
And they voted for me in heavy numbers, so I like them even more.
Wait, hold on.
Our amazing friendship between America and Ireland, and to just honor all of the Irish Americans. And I'm a little bit biased because I'm American and Irish, but
Good. And well,
Oh, Randy.
great people. Great
St.
people.
Patrick's Day is coming up as well.
And they
The amount of executive orders this dude has signed in less than 50 days is insane.
voted for me in heavy numbers, so I like them
Never seen this before. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to you.
even more. You have to like it. You know, you're not supposed
Johnny
to, but
Harris, a member on the channel. Ghetto God, a member. Shout out to y'all.
you have to like that. So for the Irish American people proclamation. Okay, Thanks,
President.
thanks, Lindsay.
Mr. President, your envoy, Steve Witkoff, told us a little while ago that if Hamas does not release hostages, that the U.S. and Israel could take some action. What does that mean in your eyes? Is that
What's up,
military action? Would you join strikes with
What are you
Israel?
going to find out? I had the honor of spending a lot of time yesterday with quite a few of the people that we got out, and I can't believe how badly treated they were, really badly treated. Stories that you wouldn't even believe. Some of it was documented, some of it was so bad you couldn't really, I don't think you can put it on. And it's a shame. And they said one thing, that they have 59 hostages, of which many of them are killed. They want to know if we could just continue. They said without us,
Tiff,
look,
Tiff.
Biden wasn't able to get anybody out. We came along and they started releasing. But we have 59 left, of which 24 are living. The rest are dead. And I put out a statement. It's sort of self-explanatory, I think. But somebody's going to have to get a lot rougher than they're getting. It's a shame. And those 24 that are living, because they were with them just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, depending on when they got out. But they said they're in very bad shape.
You spoke today with your cabinet
If
member.
y'all can double tap the screen, hit the like button and all that. It'd be appreciated.
And Elon Musk.
I did.
What did you tell them in regards to Elon Musk and his authorities to carry out?
Shout out to Sonia's great scrapbook. Said, "Evening, everyone. Found your channel when clips of your crying showed up on my timeline." Shout out to you. Shout out to all the It's been some like super popular people sharing that. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all for sharing that. A lot of new subscribers. Appreciate y'all.
Actions.
We had a great meeting. We had Elon and we had some of the representatives for the business reps. We also had most of the cabinet members, not all of them. It doesn't really pertain to all of them, but many of them. And I thought it was a really good meeting. It was about cutting because everybody knows the country's way out of control in terms of the number of people. We have many people that don't work. We have many people probably that aren't even living that are getting checks. And we're finding all of that out, and it's being reported. We're going to save hundreds of billions of dollars. We've already saved a lot. And parts of it are contracts that are expired that we're paying on. Many crazy things that.
Yeah, he was saying that they may have had 3-month contracts with different contractors, and the contract, they never stop payment. So some of these contracts that they've been paying the government for like 3 months, they've been paying on them for years. They just never stop payment. So, and who knows, that could be like, maybe somebody's friend that owns the company, is just getting all kinds of money from the government. And so they're putting an end to that. So there's a reason why, I don't want to say no politicians' names, like Pocahontas, people like that. They don't want the Treasury Department being audited because they don't want people finding out stuff like this. But, by him doing this and having Elon Musk do the forensic audit, they can save Americans a lot of money. One of the things that people are complaining about, oh, well, Social Security is at risk. Okay, well, he's going to continue to save people money. and then let's see if, you know what I mean, he could save it. But I like how his strategy, what he's doing, just tightening up, you know, and not spending everybody's money.
You know, you can see it happening. It shouldn't happen, but you can.
Zelensky was also like a big deal. Like we were giving like hundreds of billions of dollars to him without even having it in the form of a loan. You know, that was like ridiculous. We got no minerals or nothing from it. Like even like the UK, like when they give Zelensky money, it's in the form of a loan. I think it was like 30% in the form of a loan. But then it's weird with the UK because it's like, yeah, they're helping Zelensky, but then they're giving Russia more money because they're buying like natural resources from Russia. That equals out to be more money than their support for Ukraine. So it's like they're hustling backwards. If they think they stop in Russia, if they think they stop in Russia, nah.
See it happening. You see a lot of it being put out. But the other thing I think most important for today, I want the cabinet members to keep good people. I don't want to see a big cut where a lot of good people are cut. I want the cabinet members to keep the good people, and the people that aren't doing a good job, that are unreliable, don't show up to work, etc., those people can be cut. So I had a meeting, and I said, I want the cabinet members go first, keep all the people you want, everybody that you need. And it would be better if they were there for 2 years instead of 2 weeks, because in 2 years they'll know the people better. But I want them to do the best job they can. When we have good people, that's precious. That's very important, and we want them to keep the good people. And so we're going to be watching them, and Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better.
Yeah, Dana, very, very counterintuitive.
And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
So, Mr. President, is that a reflection that you think Doge and Elon Musk have been moving too quickly?
No, I think they've done an amazing job.
What kind of question? Hey, I think we can all be reporters. Like, why are we not there? No way I would be asking the president of the United States a weird question like this. Do you think Elon Musk is moving too quickly? Like, what kind of question is that? He's got to move as fast as he can to try to find the bloat and cut the overspending. Like, what is this? These reporters, bro.
They've done an amazing job, and look at what they found. I read it the other night in the speech. I mean, they found these things where billions of dollars has been poured down the drain to things. That's not about people. That's about contracts where billions and billions of dollars was just thrown out the window. It probably got kickbacks. I'm sure there were tremendous kickbacks for the people that authorized those contracts. But no, Elon has been really teaching everybody about the numbers that you can do. But what I want the numbers, but I also want to keep the good people. We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up, and have a lot of problems. And so they're working together with Elon. And I think we're doing a really great job. We're cutting it down. We have to for the sake of our country. You can't have that kind of fat. It's bloat, and like nobody's ever seen before. Where you need 20,000 and they have 120,000 people, and you just don't need that many. And it happens with companies, and it happens with governments, I guess. You could.
Yeah, exactly. Get blown said they're not used to government moving so quickly. John Horse is a member on the channel. Y'all get y'all membership. Said Hamas brushed him off, kind of like everyone else.
Go to a lot of governments, you'd see the same thing. But we're trying to get it down. We want to be able, next year, we could balance the budget. I think there's a good chance.
Exactly. Hassonia's scrapbook said Trump is going to close the borders. Why? Yeah, they crying. They upset about that.
We could balance the budget next year. We have a lot of good things happening. Plus, we have a lot of revenue things happening, like today with the shipbuilding. And this gentleman behind me is going to create a lot of jobs. And it's about the biggest there is in the world. We had the biggest chip maker in the world here a few days ago. He's going to be spending $200 billion on building plants. We're not giving him any money.
That's crazy. $200 billion on building plants. Then you got Saudi Arabia's would invest in $600 billion or something like that. Something crazy, like a huge number in America. Then you got Apple investing $500 billion in America. That's what it was. Was it $500 billion? That's a lot of money. Dropping the bucket for Apple, but it's a lot of money. Like bringing investments back into America, one of his promises he is doing in more ways than one. Shout out to our president.
money to build it either. You know, it's that chip back is ridiculous.
And shout out to YouTube too, because I had a problem. Like y'all want me, I'll tell y'all everything. I had a problem with YouTube earlier today, right? So I did a blog, right? Or I went live. It did like 400 and something thousand views, right? We were live for like 4 hours. So it did like 400 some thousand views. I looked and they limited the video monetization. You know, and some platforms will do stuff like that because they're trying to like keep the money. You know what I mean? Or they feel like the content is like not good for advertisers. And so I was talking to YouTube and I'm like, hey, I think this was limited because it said a manual review. And so I'm like, well, I think this was limited because you may have like a person that worked for y'all that have personal biases against Trump. I'm like, we didn't say one bad word in that entire live. We didn't say anything crazy, nothing bad. I went through the live. I watched the live. There is no reason why this live should have been limited. And you know why like companies will do that? To scare you not to do that again or to talk about that again. And so like I ended up like it got escalated, you know, and YouTube, like they found that the video did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong in the video. And then they released the limitation of the video. Like y'all people, like if you work for these social media companies, y'all can't be like trying to bully people from not being Republican. Like that's ridiculous. There's enough Democrats out here. We can be Republican and it should be fine. It's freedom of speech. Trump said don't do that. You know what I mean? But they honored it. They let the video rock. But that I was surprised when I woke up and I seen that. I'm like, why is this video like limited? No reason.
Where the Biden thing, where they give billions of dollars to people that have nothing but money. They're not going to spend that money. They're just taking that money. We're giving nothing. They're coming in because of the tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs. And they're open.
John Horst said, if Doge is going to sidestep Congress, why have it? If you are getting rid of DEI, why do we have the Electoral College? Anyone? What is the Electoral College? DEI and Electoral College is completely different. I'm not opposed of getting rid of DEI, honestly. I'm tired of going to companies that have these DEI workers that don't want to do anything, don't want to do their job, and they got the job because of DEI. Like, and I can tell like who that is, like when I go to some of these companies. So, you know, I'm not mad at DEI. As far as Electoral College, I think we kind of do need the Electoral College. That's not a popular opinion. I think we need it in some capacity, you know, because sometimes people can be easily swayed. Like, look at all the millions of people that voted for Kamala. Like, some people just don't, you know what I mean? Like, they too busy to follow what's going on in politics. They're working 2 or 3 jobs. They vote off of emotion. You might have to have, like, some sort of Electoral College. When I was growing up, like, I was like, yo, why do we have an Electoral College and not just the popular vote? I was mad about it. But I think that's kind of like it's like a system that is kind of like a fail-safe for real, in my personal opinion. Like I think it's necessary. A lot of people don't think it's necessary. I think it's necessary because I don't think people are that smart. Like y'all are smart. Y'all pay attention to whether or not you Democrat or Republican, you pay attention to what's going on in politics. But a lot of people don't. They just vote off emotion. You ever talk to somebody that has Trump derangement syndrome and you ask them like, why don't you like him? And they don't know. And the reason why they really don't like him is because the media has been marketing him to be mad, like bad. When they say he's racist, they say this about him. They say he's chauvinist. They say that. But I'm like, what did he do? And they 9 times out of 10, they can't tell you. They change the subject and just say he's a bad person. Know nothing about him. Like, so you need to have some sort of checks and balances. But even, I mean, the popular vote, I think is important. You know what I mean? But it shows like where the country stands. You know, and I get it. Some people don't like the Electoral College, but I mean, I ain't got none, you know, no complaints about it no more. Now that I'm learning a little bit more about the voting process, I ain't really complaining about it that much no more.
Opening up big. So, but with respect to people, I said, I want to cut the people, but I want to keep the good people.
Can you walk us through the next step?
Yeah, exactly. And then Johnny Harris said, do we really want California and New York making decisions for the entire country? Like New, New York is kind of small, but California is big. Texas is big, but New York, California is big. No, like, have y'all been to California, bro? Like, it's nice, crazy expensive. Everything's expensive. Gas is expensive. Like, everything. They want to, like, limit water access. Like, we don't want them, like, controlling nothing. Like, we need an electoral college. It's like, it's a good barometer to, like, you know, kind of keep things, like, in check. Like, no, because California people are crazy. They a lot, not all y'all. Thug life, not all y'all. Not the Republican California people. Not all y'all. But y'all be moving to Nashville, Tennessee. I be talking to some of y'all. I'm like, yo, why'd you move here? Blah blah. And y'all be moving here for music. I'm like, okay, so how do y'all vote? And y'all be wanting to vote Democrat. And then I ask y'all too, like, so y'all just moved out here for music. Oh, and it's really expensive. So why are you voting Democrat? Why are you coming into a Republican place that you can afford and you want to vote the same way you voted, like, in California? And people from New York too, I talk to them sometimes too when I see the place. And they want to vote the same way. And like, and they want to, like, they don't know. They just, people are conditioned to vote on how they feel. And they don't really realize the way that they vote has caused the prices of everything to get ridiculously crazy. You know, and all the restrictions and red tape. And now y'all buying cars that are produced in California. What is it? Tesla cars, their paint has certain restrictions, and like, not the paint having all kind of issues because of, like, they can't, car makers can't make paint right over there. Like, it's like y'all crazy. Elon Musk done left California. I mean, he still got a plant there. What is it, Fremont? But he went to Texas and started building like cars and stuff. Like, California is crazy. The regulation is insane. Like, nah.
That's on this. Steel and aluminum tariffs are due to kick in next week on Canada, Mexico, and every other country. Are those going to be modified as well?
No, those aren't modified. Those are happening next week. And the big one will be on April 2nd.
Yeah, and then Randy 2K said, New York is Democrat. It sucks. I went out to, like, you know, I go to battle rap events every once in a while, right? And I got to go to New York every once in a while when they have them. And I don't have to. I just go, right? And just the amount of money you have to pay, just to park, just to cross, like, if you, let's say you come in through New Jersey and you got to cross the George Washington Bridge, the amount of money, like, just to cross a bridge, like, come on, bro. Like, that George Washington Bridge, the amount of millions of dollars they probably make a day, that bridge ain't worth all that. Like, come on, bro. Have y'all been across the George Washington Bridge? Like, they overcharge you for everything. The roads are tore up. Like, New York City roads are just, and I don't want to hear, oh, because it's congested. A lot of places are congested. They got way better roads than that. Roads is a mess. Like, illegal immigrants are getting all of y'all money. Like, doing Eric Adams just giving illegal immigrants $350 a week and food vouchers. That's $1,400 a month and free food vouchers, while the citizens of New York are paying crazy amounts of money for rent. But then you got illegal immigrants being put up in high-rise hotels that's being financed by the taxpayers. Yeah, they siphoning, taking all y'all tax money just to give it to illegal immigrants, and y'all love it. Like, that's insane. Like, New York is no. Like, them politics, no. Shout out to New York. Them politics is crazy.
When reciprocal tariffs. So if India or China or any of the countries that really, India is a very high tariff nation. I'll tell you what's a high tariff nation is Canada. Canada charges us 250% for our milk product and other product.
Hey,
and
Democrats that's in here, like, hit the, you know what I mean? Hit the super chat or something. Stop. I know y'all used to trying to get everything for free. Hit the super chat or something. Y'all want to say something subversive, hit the super chat.
a tremendous tariff on lumber and things as such. And yet we don't need their lumber. We have more lumber than they do. We don't need Canada's lumber. So what I'm doing is I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests so that we're allowed to take down trees and make a lot of money and then reharvest trees. Also, we're cutting fire divides. A fire divide is a 50-yard to 70-yard swath where the trees can't, it's long enough so trees don't burn forever until you can get them out. And those trees can be sold and made a lot of money with. So but we'll be doing that. We don't need trees from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. So where we can be self-sustaining, which is
Yeah, we can be self-sustaining. Like, another thing people want to complain, oh, he's putting tariffs on everybody. Now you got Canada doing a retaliatory tariff. Who cares? What do y'all buy from Canada? Like, when I be looking at stuff, I'm like, this ain't coming from Canada. Like, who cares about Canada? You already got companies talking about they about to start building their plants in America because they don't want to lose us as customers. People are already saying that the market is going to dictate things, right? He understands that. So it's like, all right, so if you got two TVs, right? One TV is manufactured in Canada and it's a market, right? You used to paying a certain price for a certain type of TV. Are you going to pay more money for the TV coming from Canada? No, you're probably just going to go with, and I'm not saying that LG is made in Canada or nothing, but you're probably not going to go with LG. You're just going to go with the Samsung one, right? You're just gonna not pay the high cost of it, and then their LG is gonna get upset over the long run, and then they're gonna start building plants in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got choices. This, like, y'all like making it seem like the places he's putting tariffs on make every little thing. No, China may be a little bit more of a problem. Thug life. You know what I'm saying? But like Canada, no. Like, we don't care. Like. Let him put the tariffs on it. Who cares? You know, and another thing that people aren't considering when he addressed Congress, right? And he's trying to do the no taxes on income tax, no taxes on overtime. If he could put more money in our pockets, who cares if it's a little 25% tariff? You about to pocket a whole bunch of overtime money. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, I see what he's doing, bro.
most things. Look, we have more oil and gas than anybody. Our forests are massive forests. We're just not allowed to use them because of the environmental lunatics that stopped us. So I'm going to be freeing that up very shortly.
Bella said we have appliances.
So that we don't.
I mean, how many more like washers and dryers we need in the house? Like, I mean, we already got our appliances.
Have to go to other countries to buy lumber. Why should we be buying lumber from other countries, paying tariffs, paying big prices, extraordinary prices?
Yeah, and then wood has like lumber costs is crazy expensive. I just did like a project in my house, crazy expensive just for, bro, I bought like some timber, was like this long, right? Wild money. Why? Like, why are we paying? Like, no, bro. Just imagine like if you had to buy steel. Like, no, all right, so we're going to put a 25% tariff on aluminum, copper, steel, all of that. And then the market's going to dictate what people buy it from. People going to be like, nah, I'm buying it from American companies. And then people going to start manufacturing more in America. I let them try it. Because what's been going on, everything is being like outsourced and other countries are controlling what's coming in here. Like, let him try this. He did really well his first presidency. Let him try something different. Let him try to save us money. Let him try to do that. Shout out to Trump.
And we have lumber. We have the best lumber. Go ahead.
And this USMCA exemption you're essentially announcing today for this 1 month.
It's just a modification, short term, because I didn't want to hurt the American. It would have hurt the American car companies if I did that.
Would you consider the same sort of exemption or pause for the auto tariffs you're talking about next month?
We're not looking at that, no.
You're not
No, we're not looking at that, no.
Revoking TPS for the Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.?
What about it?
Are you considering revoking the TPS status for the more than 200,000 Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.?
What are you saying?
The Ukrainians that are here in the
Yeah,
U.S.,
yeah.
they're under a TPS status.
On GPS?
TPS, temporary.
Oh, I thought you said GPS.
TPS.
Yeah.
There was some news saying that they were going to be revoked and they were going to be deported from the country. Are you considering that for the
Well, we're
Ukrainians?
not looking to hurt anybody, and we're certainly not looking to hurt them. And I'm looking at that, and there were some people that think that's appropriate and some people don't, and I'll be making a decision pretty soon. Okay?
President Trump
But we're not looking to hurt them,
President Trump said-
especially Ukrainians. They've gone through a lot. Yeah, Peter?
The clocks are going to spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings?
Okay, are you ready? So, this should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue. And if something's a 50-50 issue, it's hard to get excited about it. I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way. It's very even. And usually I find when that's the case, what else do we have to do?
And I gotta ask, because you were talking about this in your joint address, you were talking about Butler. It's been 7 months. Why do you think we don't know more about the guy who shot you in the ear?
Yeah, no, well, and the second one with all of his cell phones. So I want to find the answers. I've told them. In fact, today I said, I want to find, we can no longer blame Biden for that one. He should have released that a long time ago. So they are giving me a report next week sometime, and I do believe I'll be releasing. I want to release the report. A lot of people have asked that question. You had one who had 3 apps, 2 of which were foreign, supposedly, and who has the biggest white shoe law firm in Pennsylvania, even though they don't live in necessarily a white shoe area. What's that all about? His law, the law firm. The other one had 7 or 6 cell phones, and I don't have 6 cell phones. And why would somebody have 6 cell phones? So we're going to be releasing a report on that soon, Peter.
But based on what you're saying right there, the lack of information and the data points that you just gave, does that make you think that there's some part of that there's some bigger?
It could be. Well, it makes other people think that. It makes me think it a little bit too. I say, when you have 3 apps and 2 of them are foreign, and you had an FBI that wouldn't report on it, they didn't want to say why, I would say that could be suspicious. And then on the second assassin, you had, and by the way, I have to tell you, Secret Service did a great job on that by spotting him. But on the second one, he had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones. And a couple of them had some strange markings on them. So, yeah, I want to find out, and I would be willing to release it. I mean, maybe there's a reason that we shouldn't, so I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis, but yeah, I would be very willing to release that. I'd like to see it. I want to see it myself, Peter. Not only you, I want to see that one myself.
Mr. President, may I?
Yes.
President Macron yesterday said that France was ready to offer its nuclear protection to other European countries. What do you make of it? And in this case, would the US also maintain a nuclear umbrella for European countries?
Well, France is also willing to put soldiers into Ukraine for safety reasons if we can get it. I will say that we've made a lot of progress with Ukraine and a lot of progress with Russia over the last couple of days. And it'd be great to bring that to an end so we don't have to talk that way about nuclear. It'd be great if everybody would get rid of their nuclear weapons. We have Russia and us have by far the most. China will have an equal amount within 4 or 5 years. And it would be great if we could all denuclearize, because the power of nuclear weapons is crazy. It is crazy. And, I was very far along a process with Russia, despite the Russia hoax, which didn't make it easy. It was a total hoax, a total rigged hoax by some bad people. But despite that, I was very close to having a program with Russia, denuclearization, and we were going to get China. I spoke to President Xi about it, and he would have been very happy to have gone along with it. But bad things happened, like an election that was rigged happened. And so we had to come back 4 years later. But I would very much like to start those talks. The opposite of what you say, the denuclearization would be incredible.
Mr. President, on the auto tariffs that you were talking about, I know yesterday you spoke with the big 3. Did you tell them that no more exemptions were on the way, and what was the
I
reaction?
told them, that's it. This was a short-term deal. And they came back to me yesterday. They said, could we have some help on the tariffs because of the speed? And I said, look, I'm going to do it, but that's it. Don't come back to me after the April 2nd. I don't want to hear from you after April 2nd. We're not going to be doing it anymore. I want to help them.
What was their response?
They didn't complain, but I helped them short-term during this short-term.
Shout out to Raphael to getting your membership. Shout out to you, Thug Life. He gets a Thug Life. It is what it is. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, Raphael, for the membership. Welcome to the squad.
Transition. April 2nd is going to be a very big day for America.
Mr. President. My understanding is that the longstanding U.S. policy is that we do not negotiate with terrorists. So how did you come?
Also, let's try to get this little channel to 123,000 subscribers. No, stop playing with me.
Decision to send somebody from your team to negotiate with Hamas?
Raphael said, thug life.
We are having discussions with Hamas. We are helping Israel in those discussions because we're talking about Israeli hostages. And we're not doing anything in terms of Hamas. We're not giving cash. We're not giving $6 billion like you hear other administrations give. And in fact, I got 50.
They gave them Hamas $6 billion. You know what I think is going on? And I'm not saying that this is what's going on. This is just my opinion on what's going on because we're allowed to have opinions in America, right? What I think is going on is like these countries seem to be giving like terrorist organizations, it's always like the organization or the terrorist group that is at war with somebody, or at least the war is like edging closer to happening. They give them money, right? So that they can have the resources to be boisterous, right? If a war gets sparks and is started, whoever's investing in companies, like, you know, that make the parts of whatever it is that's used in war, they make the money. Their stocks go crazy, you know, and then like the companies that are, you know, helping politicians with, you know, their campaigns and stuff like that with money, they're a little good. So I think it's kind of a interesting theory on my end. Like, I feel like, like maybe they behind the scenes trying to, you know, agitate war so that everybody can make money on the back end of it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, because why else would the United States be giving terrorist organizations like billions of dollars? Like, why? Why would like UK be supporting Zelensky and giving him like billions of dollars, but then on the other end of it, they're giving Russia like hundreds of billions of dollars for like energy and stuff like that? It's like, come on, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, war is very profitable. Like, why didn't Joe Biden want to stop the war? He could have stopped it. He could have stopped it. He could have tried to stop it. Why didn't he want to stop it? Why is he right before the president that wants to stop all of this, right before he gets inaugurated, he gives Ukraine permission to launch long-range missiles into Russia? Like, why would he do that? You know what I mean? Like, why does he want this to continue? Why doesn't Zelensky want this to stop? He was in the Oval Office. He got a couple of different options. He didn't want to stop the war. He wants to keep fighting, but he wants to fight with everybody else's money. Zelensky don't even have the people to fight Russia. Russia got like 140 million people or something like that. Ukraine's got like 39 million people. You know what I'm saying? So hundreds of thousands of people have already lost their lives, right? Dropping the bucket, they think, like, to the millions that they already have. But Trump is like, yo, we need to stop fighting. Like, because this is going to edge towards a world war. You already got, like, Europe, like, considering, like, putting troops on the ground to help Ukraine. Like, what do you think is going to happen? That's going to spill over and it's going to turn into a world war. Let's just stop all it. Zelensky don't want to stop it. Why? Because his country is in martial law. When a country is in martial law, you can't have elections. You think Zelensky doesn't want to be in power? You know what I'm saying? If Zelensky's not in power anymore, who's going to protect him? I mean, he's more comfortable now, like flying to different countries and getting billions of dollars, like I would think, versus like sitting in Ukraine, don't know what's going to happen to him. You just went, you know what I mean? You had a war with Russia. Russia started, well, you had a war with Russia. Like, they might get you one day. Like, when is that security detail going to end? Like, you know, we ain't in that position where our life is, like, threatened. Maybe Zelensky don't want to, like, he'll say, yeah, I'll step down for peace for Russia and all that. Come on, bro. Y'all think that's what he really going to do? Like, just think about it. Like, I think war is very profitable, and then it helps some people. Zelensky's making a lot of friends, getting a lot of billions of dollars, and we don't know. We see what's happening on TV, right? It's Trump allows you to see everything, like, you know what I mean? The talks, everything. Other countries won't. Like, they'll, like, you know, do a photo op and then go in the back and talk, and you'll never see the conversation. So we don't know who is profiting and who's winning. You don't think if they're giving him hundreds of billions of dollars, like, or, tens of billions of dollars, like they're going to tell him something? Like, there's a reason why Zelensky does not want to stop this war.
59 hostages out, and we gave nothing. In 59, we gave nothing, not including what's going on.
Shout out to Shay with the $4.99 donation, said, I hate when people say he's doing my stuff negative to vets. We have programs to help us get jobs. We good, and we still get support in healthcare. Okay, because I guess people keep saying like he needs to do more stuff for the vets. I think that's what you mean. But you're saying that there are programs and stuff to help the vets. Okay.
With Hamas. I mean,
He's got like he got to do one thing at a time. If people do want him to help the vets, like, don't you think he needs to like try to be saving money and cutting back and not giving Zelensky hundreds of billions of dollars, and maybe he can like have the money. First of all, he's got to show Congress that America can say, can operate on a balanced budget. He's probably going to be the first president to have a balanced federal budget, right? We can, if we balance the budget, we cut the bloat, we shut down the departments that are not necessary, we stop giving money to terrorist organizations and different countries for condoms, and different countries for comic books, and different countries for them to throw an opera and all this crazy. If we stop doing all of this, the American can operate on a reasonable budget. That way we don't necessarily need to be taxing tips and overtime. You know what I mean? If he could do that, then he could save America's money. Okay, that's one thing done. Now let's move on to something else. You see what I'm saying? So I'm kind of rocking with him.
Consider that something where we're helping Israel for the most part. We had a couple of hostages, as you know. We got a couple of hostages out, American hostages.
Mr. President.
But certainly, Peter, you have to negotiate. There's a difference between negotiating and paying. We want to get these people out. If you would have seen the people yesterday, maybe you did, I don't know, but if you would have seen them, the way they spoke about their captivity, it was unbelievable. It's terrible.
Are you thinking about making any changes to NATO where a NATO country gets attacked, but they're not paying enough dues, so the United States doesn't defend them?
Well, I've said that to them. I said, if you're not going to pay, we're not going to defend. I said that 7 years ago. And because of that, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, if you're not going to pay your bills, we're not going to defend you. And it also went for the attack. But if they got attacked, they said, well, does that mean you won't
If y'all can't hit the like button, they trying to slow the video down. They are.
defend us? I said, are you current or are you delinquent?
Man, I'm about to go to work in like 15 minutes. I'm trying to chill with y'all for a minute.
They said, if we were delinquent, would you? I said, nope, I would not. And because of that, as you know, hundreds of billions of dollars came into NATO. You wouldn't have NATO right now if I weren't there. And your previous Secretary General has said that. He said he's never seen anything like it. When I came to NATO, when I first had my first meeting, I noticed that people weren't paying their bills at all. And I said I should wait till my second meeting, and I did. And I brought that up. And I said, if you don't pay your bills, we're not going to participate. We're not going to protect you. And when I said that, as soon as I said that, it was amazing how the money came in. The money came in, and now they have money. But even now, it's not enough. It's really not enough. They should be paying more.
John Horst said they really throttle you. Yes, they do. Like there's a couple of things. If you say you get throttled, I don't care what nobody says on a lot of different social media platforms. If you mention John F.K. Kennedy, the relative, the one that's, or you know what I mean, like descendant, the one that's over the FDA. If you mention him, things slow down. If you mention the files that everybody wanted to see Pam Bondi release. Remember, like we were live for like two hours talking about that, and it would not move. Like I was stuck at like 14,000 views for like 2 hours. If I do a 2 hour live, I'm gonna get 100,000 views, close to it. And it was just stuck. And this is like the hot topic right then. And it's like everybody was hitting the like button. I could see them like on this side, like the hunters are going crazy, the hearts was going crazy. That video would not move. It had like 1,200 people in here. Like for 2 hours, it was concurrent, like 1,200 viewers. You know what I mean? And it just would not move. So certain topics, like when the files get released, like I might not even be able to talk about that, like on this channel. You know what I mean? Certain things, like, hey, you will know if you do YouTube and you look at your, like, you will know, like, you know, some things you gotta kind of watch what you do. You know what I mean? And then Shay with the $4.99 said, as a vet, we have seen better care since Vietnam, but there are layers that keep us from getting help faster, especially for crisis like mental health. Yeah.
Mr. President, question on the investment, sir. You've overseen about $2 trillion worth of domestic private sector investments come in just about 2 months. This is the newest one. It comes after your announcement of a new ship.
Yeah, Dana, like, I just took the video down because I didn't want to risk it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to think about this, like the video I had up of Trump, like that did 400 and some thousand views, like it's still on there. Like it got limited for no reason. Like I had to talk to YouTube for them to like really look at the video and was like, because it got manually reviewed. And then a person I feel like was biased that don't like Trump, they just limited the video. And then YouTube looked into it and they were just like, well, there was nothing wrong with the video. So they made it green. Right. But why? You know, and that's like a form of discouragement. Like if I was live for 4 hours, I didn't say one bad word. Not one bad word came out of my mouth. But that's like a form of like discouragement. Like if that happens to you, a 400 some thousand view video, how much money you think that is? It's a lot. Right. So if you just do that, and you don't do that often, right? I mean, I could get 100 some thousand views and stuff like that, but if I don't do like 400 some thousand often, I think I've only done that like a few times on this channel. Another channel I did 1 million views like on a video and stuff like that. But that would discourage somebody and make them not want to talk about Trump for 4 hours. You see what I'm saying? But like I fought it and they agreed, you know what I'm saying? They were very reasonable. So it's, you know, it's just, they you know what I mean? Things happen. People are human, you know? People get emotional. Like when they see this guy, like people get emotional.
Building office at the White House during your joint session to Congress. Can you talk about why this is important, not only for national security, but to continue the renaissance of domestic manufacturing?
Well, we have to maintain a strong country. We have to maintain, we want to pay off debt. We have a lot of debt, but that'll start coming off quickly when this all comes around. Look, we've been supporting the whole world. You mentioned NATO and you mentioned other things. We've been supporting the whole world. When I first came in, we were paying almost 100% of NATO. NATO it was crazy. We were supporting NATO. We were paying the bills for other countries. And yet those same countries, mostly European, you know, the European countries were ripping us off in trade. They won't take our cars. They wouldn't take our agricultural product. They wouldn't take anything. We were taking their cars by the millions, Mercedes and BMW and Volkswagen, all of them. We were taking.
He's basically telling you these other countries that we support and we protect think we soft, and they think we just gonna be taken advantage of and we gonna keep allowing it. And he ain't going. Like he not about to let that happen. Like no.
Their cars, they weren't taking it. We were taking their farm products, they weren't taking ours. It's a total ripoff. And yet we were protecting them by giving them the money. And, you know, that adds up to a bad number at the end of a lot of years. And that's what happened. And now it's time for this country to stop being ripped off. I had that done very much in the first administration, but then we had to focus on other things at the very end with COVID. But we had the greatest economy in history. We had the greatest economy in history. I think we're going to redo it here, but even better. And I wanted to do what we're doing now in the first term, but we had so many other things to do. We had to fix the border, which we did. We had to fix our military. We rebuilt our military. We completely rebuilt the military, only to watch Biden give so much of it away to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. It's not even believable. It's not even believable what he did. The damage that man did or that administration did to this country is frankly not even believable.
Yeah, I think he did like an interview with Joe Rogan and he was talking about all the equipment and stuff that was just left in the different countries.
And in particular, allowing millions and millions of people to come into our country. Many of them were murderers and and drug dealers and gang members and people from prison for very heinous crimes, for him to allow those people into our country. And now we're spending tremendous amounts of time and effort. Nikki and Tom Homan, who's doing an unbelievable job, but we shouldn't have to be spending anything on that. We had the safest border ever. Now we have actually, as you saw, the numbers just came out, where we have actually the lowest numbers in the history of our country. But we shouldn't have had to do that. What we're doing now is we're looking for murderers. Can you believe it? We're looking for murderers because thousands of murderers, some about 50% killed more than one person. One killed 5 or 7. And we're looking for those people right now. We shouldn't have to be looking for
President Trump, on Peter's question, are you going to make that policy, U.S. policy, that the U.S. wouldn't defend NATO countries?
Shout out to Shay with the 499 said people need Econ 101 to understand how things work and why he makes these moves. Furthermore, why didn't we hear them angry when Biden was in office? Exactly. You know what? Hey, Shay, I heard a lot of people complaining that food prices was high. They can't afford to buy a house. The interest rates was too crazy. I heard all of that, but they just magically forgot that gas prices was high. They magically forgot that, like, during the election time. Kamala Harris would get up there and smile, and they would forget everything. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, they did. People were complaining, all these illegal immigrants, like, flooding into America. I've seen all of the complaints. But when it comes to on the grand stage or in media, nah, like MSNBC, CNN, they ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they ain't gonna say one word about it. The Breakfast Club, all of these, The View, none of them like offshoot like media. They not gonna say nothing. They're gonna let it rock. But I remember I seen all of their complaints. I seen them all. They weren't complaining like that when Trump was in office. Hey, I bought my house under Trump. 4.125 interest rate. It ain't the best. It ain't the worst. Can't get that now. I got that under Trump. But I guess they happy with this close to 7% interest rate buying a house now. It's insane.
That don't pay.
Well, I think it's common sense, right? If they don't pay, I'm not going to defend them. No, I'm not going to defend them. I got into a lot of heat when I said that. You said, oh, he's violating NATO. And, the biggest problem I have with NATO, I really, I know the guys very well. They're friends of mine. But if the United States was in trouble and we called them, we said, we got a problem, France, we got a problem, a couple of others I won't mention. Do you think they're going to come and protect us? They're supposed to. I'm not so sure. With Japan.
I like how he said that. You think if we had a problem, you think they would come and protect us? First of all, y'all got to open your eyes. Have y'all been to Europe? I have. I know a lot. It seems like a lot of y'all got money in here, right? A lot of y'all probably been to Europe and all of that. Like, Europe is like, the countries are very small. Like, I drove through Switzerland, France, and all of that in like no time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't even have the ability to be able to, I don't feel like, to even protect us. So why are we like worried about them and letting them rip us off? Like, they need us, is how I feel.
With Japan, we have a deal, which is a very interesting one. And I love Japan. We have a great relationship with Japan, but we have an interesting deal with Japan that we have to protect them, but they don't have to protect us. Do you know that? That's the way the deal reads. We have to protect Japan. And by the way, they make a fortune with us economically. There's another case. But we have to protect Japan, but under no circumstances do they have to protect us. I actually ask, who makes these deals? Yeah, Peter?
Well, so why stay in NATO at all?
I don't think we need to be in NATO, like, for real. That's my opinion. Hold on, but somebody just sent me this. Let me see what this is. Hopefully he ain't saying no bad words.
When you thought the Democrats couldn't look anywhere.
Yep.
I view NATO as
Start playing music, I'm out.
potentially good, but you gotta get some good thinking in NATO. It's very unfair what's been happening. Until I came along, we were paying close to 100% of NATO. So think of it. We're paying 100% of their military, and they're screwing us on trade.
And when Zelensky inevitably comes back to the White House, what do you expect from him? And do you think you'll see him in a necktie?
Well, I think what's going to happen is Ukraine wants to make a deal because I don't think they have a choice. I also think that Russia wants to make a deal because in a certain different way that only I know, they have no choice either.
Are you still thinking of going to Saudi Arabia and meeting with Putin about this?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
Mr. President,
They've been very, I've made a deal with Saudi Arabia where,
Saudi Arabia gave a lot of money to America, so we going over there.
because normally you'd go to UK first. And last time I went to Saudi Arabia, they put up $450 billion. You know that, right? You were there. We had American companies that took in $450 billion. I said, well, this time they've gotten richer. We've all gotten older. So I said, I'll go if you pay $1 trillion, $1 trillion to American companies, meaning the purchase over a 4-year period of $1 trillion. And they've agreed to do that. So I'm going to be going there, and I have a great relationship with them. And they've been very nice, but they're going to be spending a lot of money to American companies for buying military equipment and a lot of other things.
Is that a trip in the near future?
But probably over the next month and a half. Yes.
Mr. President, you told us a couple of weeks ago that you were looking to speak with President Xi of China. That hasn't happened. How come? What are you
Well, I
waiting
have
for?
spoken to him, yeah.
Since that last phone call?
I don't want to say that, but I have spoken to him. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. President,
I
regarding.
have a great relationship with President Xi.
But you've spoken to him.
It was
since
hurt
January
because of
6th.
COVID.
Thank you, Mr.
That's why I don't call it the China virus anymore.
Shout out to Trump. He funny, bro. Like, hey, y'all, but I got to go to work. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the new member. Appreciate you. Everybody, let me shout y'all out in the chat. Y'all come back to tomorrow when we go live, because we're going to go live in the morning. Dana Ament, shout out to you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Draco, Chad, Christian Medwig in here. He's a Democrat. He said France is not small. 12-hour drive, top to bottom. He's a Democrat. Vince F. Hold on. Who else we got in here? Jones Charlie in here. Shout out to you. We got Goth Peter Pan. Shout out to you. We got a lot of people in here. I appreciate y'all for checking in. But we will be back. Jones Charlie, I see you in here. We will be back in the morning, but I gotta go to work. 12 hours. You know what I'm saying?